The final straw came when Amara discovered Ifeanyi kept track of how many pads she used each month. She found his notebook filled with meticulous records and felt utterly humiliated. She confronted him, tears of frustration in her eyes. "Ifeanyi, I can't live like this." In the bustling city of Abuja, Ifeanyi lived a life that many envied. At 33, he was rich, handsome, and successful. His father had passed away years earlier, leaving him and his mother, Mama Ifeanyi, to navigate life together. Despite his wealth, Ifeanyi had one glaring flaw that no amount of money could mask: he was extremely stingy. Ifeanyi's stinginess was the reason why no woman had stayed with him long enough to consider marriage. He wanted an account of everything in the house down to the last grain of rice, and this meticulousness terrified the women he dated. They often left, frustrated and disheartened by his behavior. Mama Ifeanyi, who lived in their village, was the only one who could somewhat manage her son, but even she struggled. Ifeanyi would comfortably give her just 10,000 naira a month to feed and take care of herself. Whenever she complained that it was too little given the current economy, he would demand a detailed account of how she spent the money before reluctantly giving her another 10,000 naira. One evening, while on a phone call, Mama Ifeanyi broached the topic of his marriage again. "Ifeanyi, my son, you're 33 now. It's time you brought a woman home and settled down." Ifeanyi sighed, holding his phone closer. "Mama, I've tried, but none of these women stay. They all complain too much." Mama Ifeanyi knew exactly why. "Maybe it's because you're too strict with money, Ifeanyi. You need to be more generous." Ifeanyi frowned. "Mama, money doesn't grow on trees. I need to be careful." Mama Ifeanyi shook her head, frustrated but determined. "Why don't we get someone from our village? I know a few good girls there who are innocent and not like these city girls." After some persuasion, Ifeanyi agreed to his mother's suggestion. Within a week, Mama Ifeanyi informed him that she had found a suitable girl and would be sending her to him soon. Before his mother's proposition, Ifeanyi had been dating a beautiful woman named Amara. Amara was initially attracted to Ifeanyi's good looks and wealth. However, it didn't take long for her to experience his stingy nature firsthand. Amara loved cooking and often enjoyed preparing meals for them to share. One evening, after preparing a sumptuous dinner, Ifeanyi walked into the kitchen and began counting the tomatoes left in the basket. "How many tomatoes did you use?" he asked, his tone accusatory. Amara, taken aback, replied, "I used 5 tomatoes. Is there a problem?" Ifeanyi frowned. 5 tomatoes for just one meal? You need to be more economical, Amara. Next time, use only 3. Amara's patience was wearing thin. "Ifeanyi, you have more than enough money. Why are you so stingy?" Ifeanyi crossed his arms. "It's not about the money. It's about being careful and not wasting resources." This was just one of many incidents that made Amara question their relationship. The final straw came when Amara discovered Ifeanyi kept track of how many pads she used each month. She found his notebook filled with meticulous records and felt utterly humiliated. She confronted him, tears of frustration in her eyes. "Ifeanyi, I can't live like this. You're controlling and stingy. This is not a healthy relationship." Ifeanyi, unfazed, replied, "I'm just trying to be responsible, Amara. If you can't understand that, maybe this isn't working." Amara left, unable to tolerate his behavior any longer. She packed her bags and moved out, leaving Ifeanyi alone and confused. He couldn't understand why his relationships never worked out. On a sunny Sunday afternoon, Ifeanyi heard a knock on his door. He opened it to find a beautiful yet slightly scruffy-looking girl standing there, holding a small bag. She smiled widely at him, and her innocence was immediately apparent. "Good afternoon, sir. My name is Ada. Mama Ifeanyi sent me," she said politely. Ifeanyi felt a warmth in his heart he hadn't felt in a long time. "Come in, Ada. Make yourself at home." As Ada settled in, Ifeanyi quickly grew fond of her. She was kind, cheerful, and hardworking. However, his stinginess soon began to surface, testing Ada's patience and resilience. The first incident occurred a week after her arrival. One morning, as Ifeanyi was preparing to go to work, he noticed Ada preparing breakfast. "Ada, how many slices of bread did you take?" Ifeanyi asked, frowning. Ada looked confused. "4 slices, sir. 2 for you and 2 for me." Ifeanyi's frown deepened. "From now on, only take 1 slice each. We need to make the bread last longer." Ada nodded, feeling a pang of unease but not wanting to argue. A month later, Ifeanyi's stinginess reached a new low. He approached Ada with a notebook in hand. "Ada, how many pads do you use per month?" he asked bluntly. Ada's eyes widened in shock. I don't know exactly, sir. Maybe 10 or 12. Ifeanyi shook his head disapprovingly. "That's too many. You need to find a way to use fewer." Ada felt humiliated and angry but kept her composure. She decided to call Mama Ifeanyi to report her son's behavior. "Mama, Ifeanyi is making my life difficult. He counts everything, even the pads I use," Ada said, her voice trembling. Mama Ifeanyi sighed. "I'm so sorry, Ada. I'll talk to him again. Please be patient." Despite Mama Ifeanyi's interventions, Ifeanyi's stinginess continued to strain his relationship with Ada. One evening, Ada approached Ifeanyi with a heavy heart. "Ifeanyi, I can't live like this. You're too strict with money. It's making me miserable," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. Ifeanyi looked at her, conflicted. He cared for Ada, but his ingrained habits were hard to break. "I'm just trying to be careful, Ada. We can't waste money." Ada shook her head, wiping her tears. "This isn't about being careful. It's about being reasonable. I'm doing my best, but this is too much." Despite her pleas, Ifeanyi remained unmoved. Ada decided she couldn't take it anymore. She packed her bags and returned to the village, heartbroken and disillusioned. Mama Ifeanyi was devastated when she heard the news. "Ifeanyi, you've driven away a good girl. If you continue like this, you'll end up alone." Her words echoed in Ifeanyi's mind. He spent the following days reflecting on his behavior and the impact it had on his relationships. He realized that his stinginess had cost him a chance at happiness with Ada. Determined to change, Ifeanyi decided to visit Ada in the village and beg for her forgiveness. He packed a bag full of gifts and drove to the village, his heart heavy with regret. When he arrived, he found Ada sitting outside her family's modest home. She looked surprised to see him. "Ifeanyi, what are you doing here?" she asked, standing up. Ifeanyi took a deep breath. "Ada, I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I've realized that I was wrong. Please forgive me." Ada looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of emotions. "Why should I believe you've changed, Ifeanyi?" Ifeanyi handed her the bag of gifts. "I've brought these for you and your family. And I promise to be more generous from now on. Please give me another chance." Ada hesitated but saw the sincerity in Ifeanyi's eyes. "All right, Ifeanyi. I'll give you one more chance. But if things don't change, I'm leaving for good. Determined to prove his sincerity, Ifeanyi made significant changes in his behavior. He started by increasing the allowance he gave his mother, ensuring she had enough to live comfortably. "Mama, here's 50,000 naira for this month. I hope it's enough," Ifeanyi said during a phone call. Mama Ifeanyi smiled, tears of gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you, Ifeanyi. This is more than enough." Next, Ifeanyi ensured that Ada had everything she needed. He stopped counting the slices of bread and pads, allowing her to manage the household expenses without interference. One evening, as they were talking on the phone, Ifeanyi turned to Ada. "Ada, I've realized that I need to trust you. You've shown me that generosity and love go hand in hand." Ada smiled, feeling a warmth in her heart. "Thank you, Ifeanyi. I'm glad you're changing." Ifeanyi's friends also noticed the difference in him. During a gathering, his friend Emeka commented, "Ifeanyi, you seem different these days. Happier?" Ifeanyi nodded. "I've learned that being generous brings more joy than hoarding wealth. Ada has taught me that." With Ifeanyi's transformation, his relationship with Ada flourished. They grew closer, building a foundation of trust and mutual respect. Ifeanyi's newfound generosity extended to everyone around him, and he became a beloved figure in his community. One sunny afternoon, Ifeanyi took Ada to a beautiful garden in Abuja. As they walked among the blooming flowers, he stopped and took her hands in his. "Ada, you've changed my life in ways I never thought possible. Will you marry me and be my partner forever?" Ifeanyi asked, his voice filled with emotion. Ada's eyes filled with tears of joy. "Yes, Ifeanyi. I will marry you." Their wedding was a joyous celebration, attended by friends and family from both the city and the village. Ifeanyi and Ada began their married life with a sense of gratitude and hope, knowing that they had overcome significant obstacles to be together. Mama Ifeanyi, watching her son and new daughter-in-law dance, felt a deep sense of pride and happiness. "You've become the man your father would be proud of, Ifeanyi," she said, smiling. Ifeanyi nodded, holding Ada close. "I've learned that true wealth is not measured by money but by the love and generosity we share with others." As the years passed, Ifeanyi and Ada's love continued to grow. They built a happy home filled with laughter, kindness, and generosity. Ifeanyi's transformation inspired others in the community to embrace the values of giving and compassion. In the end, Ifeanyi's journey from stinginess to generosity showed that anyone could change if they opened their hearts to love and kindness. His story became a cherished folktale in Abuja, reminding everyone that true happiness comes from sharing and caring for those around us.